Musical on the beat.
Welcome back to episode 21 of the Zoo House Sports Fantasy Football Zoo podcast on the opening day of the 2020 NFL season. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Matt, aka Zoo House Zebra, and I'm joined once again by my co-hosts
Tom, aka the Zoo House Goat. Guess what? I got married. I have a new GM for life.
Rich,
Whoa.
aka Zoo House Bear. Guess what? I'm still hungover from that wedding.
And Chief, aka Zoo House Moose. I didn't get to go.
To celebrate the imminent start of the season, this week we'll be looking at your starts, sits and sleepers for week 1, the matchups for the week, and we'll finish it all off with some wild predictions for the season ahead.
But before I get onto that, let's take a look at the news from around the league this week.
That's my news jingle. You're welcome.
I love that.
I like it.
Thanks.
So let's start it off with our resident Bucks fan. So what's been going on down south, Richard?
Basically, what happened was there was a man in Jacksonville who very sadly didn't have too many friends. And being the welcoming folk we are in Tampa, we brought him in. And he's so happy with his new friends that he's actually started an Instagram account just to brag about having new friends. It is, of course, Leonard Fournette going to the Bucks. Now, it's all very well and good. Him and Rojo will fight for a bit. Rojo will probably have the rock for the first couple of weeks. Then I'd imagine Fournette's going to be bored of it. And Brady will turn around and go, BA, this guy's way better. We're playing him now. But the most important part of this news is Leonard Fournette genuinely created an Instagram account the day that he became officially signed with the Bucks, and I think it's like 5 out of the 7 posts are memes of him now being best friends with Tom Brady, which is just my favourite thing about the internet right now. If you haven't seen it, go to his Instagram. It is absolutely brilliant. Tom, as this Ronald Jones drafter, how do you feel about this?
I think it's fine. Look, if I get a couple of weeks out of Rojo, that's a fair pick. And Fournette will get injured. Then Rojo will be there for third downs, second downs and first downs, and Fournette will be on the bench.
Do you still feel comfortable considering it was your 6th pick for Rojo?
You probably could have got him in the 8th.
Yeah, I could have got him in the 10th, probably, maybe not. I could have got him in the 4th. I don't know. Let's see how the season goes. Fournette could get injured, and Rojo could be on 1,000 yards, like he was last year, even behind Peyton Barber.
Did he get?
Yeah,
1,000
very.
yards,
I think the biggest thing for me is whether Rojo has sorted out his blocking problem. I mean, we know that Bruce Arians had a big problem with Rojo not blocking, and that's why he got put on the bench a lot of the time in the 2019 season. If he's worked on it during the off season and he comes back and he can actually do his job, all of it, then I can't see Fournette pushing in. Whereas another thing Bruce Arians loves is experience, and Fournette has it. So if we see Rojo dropping a couple of rushes and Tom Brady goes down, then I can't see him staying in the position for much longer than that.
I do have to admit, I did look it up after last week, and it turns out Fournette was actually like the 6th worst rated pass blocker as a running back in the league last year. So that's not ideal for him. But I mean,
It's good.
improvise,
It's good
adapt,
backup and good
overcome.
cover. It's good backup and cover for Rojo.
Backup and cover, yeah, of course he is. Everyone pays their backup running back $4 million a year.
Look at Kareem Hunt. He's on even more than that.
Yeah, but he's not really. Oh, yeah, but he's too good. He's like a wide receiver, though.
Yeah, he's like half RB, half wide receiver.
Maybe they're going to do that with Rojo. Get
Maybe.
Godwin out of the
Maybe
picture, put Rojo in the slot. I'd
Push
be
Godwin
very happy
out
with
of a
that.
job.
I mean, it could happen.
I'm not sure how, but it could, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on down towards some sad news for Adrian Peterson. He got cut from the Washington named TBDs.
Peterson, right.
And he ended up at Detroit Lions. Now, I think that's slightly out the fire and into a frying pan with the flames turned down a bit less. The Detroit Lions are still an absolute basket case in the NFC North. They're not really going to win anything this year. Matt Patricia does seem like a cool guy on the Pat McAfee show, though. So,
Hey, he was pretty cool the other day.
and he's not in a racist team anymore. And then Josh Rosen, unfortunately, is no longer a Dolphin. I know you're probably upset with that, Chief, because he would have helped Dolphins out there, but he's ended up at the Bucks to learn from Brady, so I think that's a sensible move for him and hopefully gets his career turned around. Other than that, I don't think either of them are going to be having any impact in any fantasy leagues at all, are they?
No, the only thing I would say about the Adrian Peterson move is I'd say it's more damning for Kerryon Johnson than it is for DeAndre Swift. In my eyes, I feel like, well, they spent draft capital on Swift because they don't trust Johnson, and now they've had the chance to pick up AP. I feel like that's now Johnson down to a solid third on the
That's when
chart.
Swift comes back from injury, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just mean he's going to come back at some point this year. I just mean like in terms of because it's going to be, I reckon, 4 weeks before all the teams get up and running anyway, and that's kind of when we can start seeing normality resume. So just be prepared for tumultuous time for the first 4 weeks. It'll be good fun. I like this next one. Josh McCown has signed the world's best contract. If I read it right, he has been signed as he's technically the practice squad quarterback, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Emergency quarterback. But he doesn't actually, it's still Philly, isn't he? But he doesn't actually have to go to Philly. He gets to just stay at home and do his own thing. He's literally a remote quarterback. He is an NFL player who's getting to work from home. $12,000 a week.
$12,000 a week, gets to work from home.
I would take that contract.
I was going to say I'd be happy to apply.
Eddie
As an emergency quarterback, I would be paid $12,000 a week to maybe have the chance to have Aaron Donald run at me. I mean, I'd run the other way, I'm not going to lie, but...
I just think it's pretty funny that a team's actually playing someone who's not even going to be at their facility, which is, I mean, I kind of guess it fits in with what everyone's doing at the minute, but still it's bizarre, isn't it? He's clearly just there to coach, I guess, Carson Wentz on a little bit more, but we'll see. Matt, do you want to talk to us about the next thing on our news list that I can see here, that I know that you're very keen to talk about today?
I'm keen to say this delicately. So essentially, there's been some allegations that our resident OBJ, Browns wide receiver 2, is likes to receive number 2s on the good old bedtime.
Yeah, I mean,
how more delicate could I put it?
Oh, this is going to be one of those great ones where we've lost Matt on the internet, but it's going to keep recording locally, so we don't know what he said, but I'm going to assume that it was
I'm enjoying this.
Who would have been the number 1 receiver, like, say, who was that artist who liked the old number 1s, allegedly? The Usher? I don't know. Anyway, number 2 receiver. Who would have thought it? OBJ. Allegedly.
Well, he's got a golden shower in his bathroom, and now... he's got a Alabama Hot Pocket in the bedroom.
It has to be said, right? You got to feel bad because the women off of It's the No Jumpers podcast, isn't it? They could have been saying anything. They could have literally been like, OBJ likes it if I cut off my finger and tickle his ear with it. And it wouldn't have mattered. No matter how ridiculous it sounds, it would have been all over the news. You've got to feel for the poor bloke, especially if it's rubbish as well. He's got like his family now. His family have seen that.
Yeah, but do you believe something?
Yeah, but you just throw it in saying, "Oh, they're talking rubbish. No one can prove it. It's all just rumours."
Amber Heard shit in the bed.
Yeah, but Matt, what if I called up your mum and said, "Oh, Mrs. Matthew's mum, did you know that Matthew likes to have his lovely lady relieve herself on him in the bedroom?" You wouldn't be too happy with that.
I just wouldn't believe it. If I was my mother, to be quite frank, I'd just be like, no, he's more of a decent human being than that. Anyway, moving on with some proper news. Looking at injury reports of just before the first week. If you are like us, very unfortunate to receive some injuries the week before the first games go live. Who do we have on the block here? So first of all, Miles Sanders. Questionable. When do you think he's going to return?
It's aiming for week 1 because it's a hamstring strain. Apparently, it's not severe enough to stop him walking or anything, but it is severe enough to take him out of full contact practice. He was doing shadow drills, so they're saying, look, he's good enough to do shadow drills. We're just really taking it week to week with him. I think they have to roll with him week 1. You start your studs in fantasy, and the same thing for the NFL teams. The Eagles need to win.
Yeah, but They said it was going to be week on week, and then 12 days later, he's still doing shadow drills. I'm not convinced. This might be a good opportunity for Boston Scott, but we'll come on to that, I'm sure.
Tom, are you giving that roundup as a really hopeful Miles Sanders owner?
Yeah. I'm looking in it daily.
I'm not gonna lie, Tom. Your team has been taking a beating this last week and a half. Yeah. You have been taking a beating. First Kamara, Rojo, Sanders.
It's like you must be used to it by now, though, right? This is like
I'm surprised I haven't got OBJ on my team. That's how shit it's been.
This is a standard Tommy preseason. I remember one year, was it like 2017 or something? You drafted Julian Edelman, and we finished the draft an hour before a preseason game where he tore his ACL and was out for the season.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also had Antonio Brown on my team that year. He also
DeAndre Hopkins.
I think before we head on, if I was Doug Peterson, I would look at the Washington team and say, you know what, Miles, take the day off. I don't know if they need to rush him back this weekend. So we might see him out there, but I would imagine not as the full workhorse back that we're hoping he's going to be later on in the rest of the season.
Miles, you listen to this, ignore him, play the game, play your hands. Get 1 million points in game 1. Please.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Moving on.
I didn't actually see what was wrong with him. I'm assuming hamstring. That's what it usually is.
Yeah, so they originally thought that it was a disagreement with the contract, didn't they? They was holding out a couple of days because he didn't like his contract, and then he got the contract and still is out. So they're something actually must be wrong.
I don't know. I think they only made the contract. Oh, you are roboty tonight. Look at that. There we go. I think he got the contract today, technically official, so I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow all of a sudden his legs feel way better, and he's absolutely fine again, because he's got $54.5 million over 2 years with 42.75 guaranteed on signing. Mate, if you're getting given $42.75 million tomorrow, your legs are fine.
Yeah. Follow the money.
Yeah.
So I'm just checking if Miles Sanders practiced today.
Oh, okay, good. You keep being sociable on our podcast over there, and we'll carry on then with Amari Cooper.
It looks like, at least to me, that there's not that much wrong with Amari Cooper. I mean, they've come out and they've said that they're limiting his practices for preventative measures. I think they're maybe just trying to rest up their wide receiver. Well, 2 now if he's been replaced by CeeDee Lamb. But sorry, that's a podcast joke
From last week.
Yeah, they just want to rest their best wide receiver and keep him healthy, I think.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's a busy. You wouldn't want to voluntarily miss time over there because it's a busy wide receiver room this year, isn't it? Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. So I'd imagine he's doing everything he can to be back for game time. But I didn't draft him, so I don't care. Tyreek Hill. This is actually news to me because he's on my team. I haven't noticed this yet. Anyone want to tell me?
Hamstring as well.
Oh, these people with their bloody hamstrings. If someone can carry on with that, I'm just going to real quick go check if this is serious.
So he's been tweaking it. He's been taking it like contact. I think he's even had some days out of practice. Now, I don't think it will keep him from being in the game. It's kind of like Cooper and Hopkins, but not as severe as Sanders. The only reason we're looking at these 4 is these are 4 studs. They usually want to start, but just keep an eye out just before game day.
It's okay, don't worry about it. He wasn't listed on the first injury report of week 1, so he should be good to go.
There we go then.
There we go. Ignore that. Tyreek Hill's fine. Everybody who's called me, stop panicking. What do we think's happening with Alvin Kamara then, following on from last week?
So there's a article that came out today saying that they are extremely close on securing a extension. That should fall between 13 and 15 million, just behind CMC. So essentially have confidence in him, and he should be absolutely fine.
I thought I read somewhere that he was absent from training for a couple of days, and it wasn't because of contract stuff. He's like, look, I ain't never hold out in my life. I don't know if that's what he sounds like at all. I've actually never heard him doing an interview. But in my head it is. And apparently he had to go and have a epidural, like what the pregnant ladies have. Like, what's about that? What's that about?
He's getting prepared to carry the team this year on his back. That's what's happening. He's going to carry my fantasy team to a ship. I don't know which ship, if it's the loser's ship or the winner's ship, either ship.
I mean, it sounds pretty serious to me. I'm glad I didn't draft him because you think of epidural, you think of tremendous pain that pregnant women have to have. It's an injection into your spine. So, yeah. And another thing that struck me when he said, I ain't ever held out in my life. To me, that's the kind of thing someone would say just before they're going to do something. Like, oh, I've never tried shrimp in my life, and now I'm going to try some. So, to me, it sounded like he's kind of, justifying, I've never done this before, but I need to.
wonder what it's like.
I like where you're going with this. It's like if I was called Odell Beckham Jr., I ain't never had a girl shit on my chest before.
Allegedly.
Man, this week has taken a downturn. We are, according to my recording, 17 minutes in, so probably a bit less than that in real life, but we have taken a downturn. Oh, that is right.
The views expressed in this podcast are not representative of everybody.
Yes, if you have issues with anything you've heard said, chances
parties.
are you can resolve it by visiting @ZooHouseGoat on Twitter and letting him know what you think.
Maybe there's a technique to it. I don't know.
Moving on, let's move on
take
from
control
the
of
news.
us all.
Let's moving on to our first topic, our main topic of starts, sits, or sleepers. So what we're going to do is run through one starter each, a person who you should sit, and a person who is really a sleeper who potentially can have a breakout game on the week 1. This is all content to help you choose your lineup. I know that there's already a few players of my roster because I've just got such a good draft. Now, I don't know who to pick. Tom, let me know if you want to talk trades, but moving on from that, why don't we start with you, Tom? Let's go with your start.
Before we hop into this.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Christian McCaffrey, we're not going to put him on this list because that's an obvious start. So when we're talking about starts, we're talking, the later round picks, not your studs, which, you might be thinking, should I have them on the bench? Should I start them? We're looking at those kind of picks. Obviously,
that's very good.
Studs.
It's a really good point. I think the Bear explained it to me earlier. We're looking at those sort of flex picks. Who are those flex picks? You already got your wide receiver 1-2, RB 1-2 all sorted. This is your flex pick of who's going to perform better. Is it going to be your running back 3 or wide receiver? Let's have a look and see what we all think. And then hey, you never know. Maybe your wide receiver or running back 2 maybe have a tough matchup this week. Maybe you just want to pull them back and move your flex up and change that around. So let's get into it.
By the way, whilst I remember, no, I just saw a great piece of advice.
We will get there eventually.
I want to share it with our listeners because it was a great piece of advice. If you have a player that you are going to play in your flex slot that is playing on Thursday night, then put them up in the respective starting running back or wide receiver slot, because if anything happens, you've then got more flexibility to fix your lineup as you come into the Sunday games or the Monday games if you need to. I thought it was actually quite good advice. That can be the difference between you having to put in a terrible running back 3 versus a pretty good wide receiver 3.
Yeah, fantastic advice.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, carry on.
Go on then, Tom. Let us hear your... first of all, should we go through starters first?
Yeah,
all of our starters, and then we'll move through sitters.
Let's start positive.
So, Tom, who do you want to start with?
I'm going to start with James White. I think they're playing Miami, New England. Sony Michel is off. The pup, he's apparently activated for week 1. Bear in mind, he hasn't done too much training camp. Damian Harris went down with a late wrist injury. That leaves Rex Burkhead and James White, who've had any time with Cam.
Yeah, because they've had to activate their backup running back off the practice squad, haven't they?
Yeah. I think JJ Taylor or something.
Something like that, yeah. It doesn't matter, he's not going to play.
But Cam always likes to check down. You've got Cam's rushing ability, can do it, which will free space up for James White. I think, to be honest, he's a high RB2. Potentially, depends on how it goes in Miami, could end up with some RB1 numbers. James White's always got some solid floor of 10 to 12 points a week. I think he can actually reach into the 20 plus points this week. I think Miami, although they've improved their defense a bit, they're still a bit of hot garbage. They should give points away. The Patriots D should keep them out. And they'll use the run game and James White and the screens and the slants. Because who's the deep receivers?
Are you not concerned that Josh McDaniels is like an evil genius of offensive schemes? Are you not concerned that the introduction of Cam Newton is going to change their scheme and it's going to lead to less checkdowns to someone like James White?
No, I mean, even Cam Newton, when he was playing with Christian McCaffrey, did a lot of checkdowns. If you watch the All or Nothing Panthers, they actually had a good rapport. And there isn't a tight end like Olsen for him to throw to, who he used to love dumping off to. I think, honestly, Sweetfeet will be out there on a lot of them. A lot of snaps. Yeah. And look, he's won Super Bowls. James White's a clutch player. He's built up a rapport already with Cam Newton. So's Edelman. I think outside of Julian Edelman, James White is rather start. But Julian Edelman's a bit more obvious if he's in your rosters. I think James White, for me, if you're saying I'll put him one of those two RBs, hopefully you've got an RB1 you've drafted, like an Alvin Kamara or a Miles Sanders. But after that, James White.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah. Matty, go on.
Right then, so I'm gonna bring in somebody who I actually drafted myself, Stephon Diggs versus. So they're playing New York Jets at Buffalo, which I think is going to be a really tough game for the Jets to sort of produce any good numbers there. I think that the offense for Buffalo is going to have be on the front foot. The defense for New York Jets aren't exactly stellar, are they? So. What I've just found out as well is that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen had some unofficial practice in the off-season together to build their chemistry. I think Diggs is a great wide receiver, and they've slapped it everywhere they can that he is their wide receiver number one. Josh Allen's is a quality quarterback that I think their chemistry is going to build, and I think he's going to have an absolute stellar game.
I think this is going to be a good test for the Bills this season, because we saw last season that they weren't ones to chase the points, but that might have been because Josh Allen wasn't really he didn't really feel like it. They were relatively passive in their play style. If we look at the Vegas spread, they are the Jets versus the Bills. That's the lowest scoring game this week. So, but it could all be wrong. I mean, fantasy football is an amazing game. You never know what's going to happen. So, we'll have to see.
I like what you've done there as well, because you've essentially done the old target Adam Gase trick, because the man's a stooge. So you're going to come up with that. My start was very nearly going to be the Buffalo Bills defense today, but then I figured it's probably not on waivers and nobody's rostering two defenses unless they want to lose this year. But yeah, no, I like that. Play someone into the Jets, and especially the Bills. They're going to be walking in like the dog with the big bollocks, so to speak, because they've lost Brady in the AFC East, so they're going to be flying high, trying to make sure they take the crown this year. So I like that.
But there will be no...
I was just going to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing 4 people holding down Jamison Crowder, because the Jets have got no one else to pass to. Like
Brashard
hopping
Perriman,
on his shoulder.
Brashard Perriman.
Is he back? Is he?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I didn't know he was out. I literally ignore anyone who plays for the Jets.
Yeah, no, he got injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah, 4 people are literally going to be tripping up Jamison Crowder all day long then. Never mind.
Right then, so let's carry on. Bear, what do we have?
I was stuck between a real life decision I'm making on my roster this week and someone I found out I like more than I thought I liked previously today. But I'm going to go with someone who's real life on my roster this week. I have Cam Newton and I have Kyler Murray on my roster. So I basically have the choice. Do I play Kyler Murray into the 49ers, or do I play Cam Newton into the Dolphins? And I'm definitely starting Cam Newton into the Dolphins. He has such a big chip on his shoulder. Everyone in Boston is just absolutely dogging on him. So many fans are, no, why would we trust Cam? Oh, we don't like all this Superman. We don't want a flashy player. He's going to go out there. He's going to put on the show. He's going to show him exactly what he's made of. And as you alluded to, Tom, when we were talking about James White, they're playing the Dolphins. I can't see them putting up too much of a fight. They've got better this year, but they're still not, they're still not someone we're going to look at with fear in a matchup. So yeah, Cam Newton for me this week, my starter.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm going to stick with the quarterback theme there, and my start of the week is going to be Matt Stafford. We've seen him play absolutely tremendously last season. He's up against the Bears, but the thing is, they don't have David Montgomery, so they won't be able to slow the game down, and he's just a gunslinger. I can see this going way above the expected point total. I think it's going to end up in basically a gunslinging match, and Matt Stafford is going to win.
Not hard against Trubisky, is it?
Yeah, I was going to say Trubisky is coming with only one barrel load.
Or the $21 million backup.
Yeah, very, very strange that was. I'd love Matt Stafford to go off this week because I will be starting Kenny Golladay on one of my teams, so that would be ideal for me if you could have a little word with Matty and just, sort him out, tell him to go off big this week.
See, I like those because most people would have drafted 2 quarterbacks like you did. I know Chief. In fact, all of you did, didn't you? I don't think only I was the one to only draft 1 quarterback, but always a tough call to choose between those. You got your star quarterback. You always think it's going to be there and there out. Kyler Murray, as you say, Bear, but against 49ers, that's tough one to call. So then, now we've done our sort of starters. I've always felt. We've hit the slot there. Who are we going to sit out? Who do we think is just not there week 1? Miss them. Moving on. What do we reckon?
It might be worth me starting this because we've already touched upon it. I've got my sit of the week as Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be absolutely amazing this year, but not for the first game. I think there's going to be too many fresh, jitters. We've got DeAndre Hopkins coming in, but again, it's their first game. I think it's too much just going directly into the unstoppable force of the 49ers defense, and for me, he's a sit this week.
Bosa will eat him. He'll catch him. And eat him alive.
Kyler Murray's only a little fella as well. That's going to be a painful afternoon for him.
I mean, the 49ers have lost Buckner, so the defense has actually got worse, but
it's not affecting things like their secondary and all that, is it?
Their secondary is still super strong.
I know.
Sherman will probably mark out Hopkins, and then air raid offense, it'll get picked. I think the air raid offense will get found out this year by some of the better teams.
See, so I'm going to jump in there and sort of say my sit, which was Christian Kirk. And as you alluded there, you've got DeAndre Hopkins coming in, questionable at the moment, but I think we've all kind of said that it's hamstring. He'll get back into it for the $40-odd million he's just signed on. And also, as you just said there, the air raid offense might get picked, and Kenyon Drake is there. So is it just going to get offloaded off to Kenyon Drake when Kyler Murray gets smashed a couple of times, and he just goes, do you know what? I'm not having this anymore. Just get it away from me. Pass it off.
I like it. All right, I'll jump in then before Tom, just because I like to be difficult, and I can see his sits. I might nick one of them. No, I'm going to say Le'Veon Bell. Frank Gore, I'm just going to say oldest man in football. He's not. I think Tom Brady is. But Frank Gore is very, very old, but has come in. Adam Gase has said repeatedly in the offseason he wants to lighten the load on Le'Veon Bell. So we can imagine Frank Gore will take some of the early down work. Le'Veon Bell is to be used for passing downs. But he's just not going to be the force he was last year. And if you drafted him early, I think the introduction of Frank Gore takes even more value away from what was already a risky pick. And they are playing the Bills, who were, I believe, the 10th best defense against the run last year, or something like that. So if you're playing for a stooge against the 10th best defense, you're not going to have a good week. So just don't start Le'Veon Bell.
They have no passing game. No passing game. Unless Jamison Crowder manages to evade the 4 defensive backs that'll be on him. And the safety, and probably the linebackers.
Lighten the load for Le'Veon Bell. Like, Adam Gase's name should just be synonymous with shit, shouldn't it? OBJ just wants a massive Adam Gase on his chest.
Allegedly.
Maybe Adam Gase is the one to do it.
This is going to be such a bad weekend if you're a Jets fan. It's just not a good way for you to be started off the season. But you know what? Screw him. No one cares.
Exactly, they're Jets fans.
And finishing it off, Tom, who are you sitting out this week?
I think Fournette is too easy because Rojo is going to beast him out, which we talked about earlier. But for me, it's Danny Dimes. Quarterback special. I know, Chief, you're quite high on him, the Moose. But I think going into Pittsburgh with that D, that's just, they've just signed some key talent again. That defense is tough in Pittsburgh. All right, you've got Saquon Barkley, amazing talent, but the Pittsburgh D is horrific. Last year, they were the 31st best team on DVOA, moving the chains, Mason Rudolph. Yet they didn't lose that many games by big margins, did they? They couldn't actually move the ball. Most of their games were like one score. Yeah, that's how strong margins. The defense was, and they haven't lost anyone. And yet the New York Giants are going in there. It's going to be a bloodbath. I think he'll come out with probably 3 picks in one half.
Steelers are playing at Giants, though.
It doesn't matter. You've not really got any fans, especially not in New York.
But this is, I'm intrigued to see how the home advantage plays out in America at the moment. Obviously, in the EPL, there aren't any fans, how much does that affect the home and away advantage?
So they came out this week,
piping in-
apparently. The competition committee said that you're allowed to play fan noise in the stadium during the game, but it can only be up to 70 decibels, which is, I don't know, like the voice of, I think it's like the volume of a vacuum cleaner or something, whether that's a vacuum cleaner
noisy
next
restaurant,
door or on your ear, or a noisy restaurant or something.
Right.
And it's got
Just
to be
give
the same
atmosphere.
for both teams, apparently. So I don't know if they're allowed to vary what's happening or if it's just like a constant level of white noise that they'll forget about. But yeah, I can't see, you talk about places like Arrowhead. I think Arrowhead once had like 140 decibels or something absolutely ridiculous for a game. That's real home field advantage when they're managing to drown out an offense trying to make their calls. But this year, if everyone's just got a flat 70, it's just a case of do you like the weather or not, really? And if you're coming from Pittsburgh, going to Giants, I mean, it's not exactly the world's most different climate, is it? It's not as if you're going from Florida to Denver or something.
Yeah, so I'd sit Daniel Jones this week.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair.
I think the only person you wouldn't sit him for is if you had Sam Darnold. You'd sit Sam Darnold just because he's a Jets player and useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right then, so moving into our sleeper, this is I think I like the GOAT's answer to this already because it kind of says what it is on the tin. So we'll start with you then. Carry it on.
A sleeper is someone that you. Well, do you want to explain what a sleeper is for our listeners?
Yeah. Okay. So the sleeper, what we're looking at here is someone who we think is going to have a breakout game, who potentially you picked up as a handcuff or you didn't really expect to kick off this early in the season. So, we'll go through some examples now, but essentially it's a tough one to call on week one where nothing's happened. We don't know who's having a good season, bad season, who's injured, who's not. So we're just spitballing through injuries and through basically who the schedule is against at the moment.
And hopefully someone who's still on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Or someone
yes.
who is so low trade capital, you could just fire off like a second to last round pick for him if someone's just not that bothered or not clued in about them.
Well, as I put on Instagram, Deebo Samuel was on the waiver wire in our home league. That's wide receiver 1 for 49ers. So it's not really sleeping, but he's a stud, which brings me nicely segued into my sleeper thing is don't try and pick a sleeper this week. Just start your studs. It's week 1 to the Zebra's point. Don't try to be too cute. If you think, actually, this defense could do this and this player could pop off. No, I did that last year by trying to play David Montgomery week 1 and he scored me 5.2 points. I remember this. And I didn't play Austin Eckler, who scored 39 points or something stupid week 1. It was just... I remember a few years before I did it with Kareem Hunt, when he exploded in New England, I kept him on my bench, tried to get too cute. Yeah, start your studs week 1. If not, here's one, Brian Edwards. Opportunities fallen to him in Las Vegas. There's him, Ruggs, and Hunter Renfrow. That's the only decent wide receivers. Tyrell Williams is out. Brian Edwards is an absolute beast. His metrics, he shouldn't have gone in the 3rd in the draft. He has been absolutely tearing up camp, and in our 18-man league, in another thing, I've got him, and I'm trying so hard not to start him, but I'm trying to stick to my studs next week.
There we go. That's good advice. Good advice. So I'm just going to pose a question out there. So are we saying that Miles Sanders is not going to be injured week 1?
He's not going to be injured week 1.
All right. So on that basis, I will change my person, and I'm going to throw out Damian Williams for the Chiefs.
Ooh.
So there's all the hype around
You mean Darrell
CEH.
Williams?
Yeah. I was just there like, I've got to change my person. Shoot, who do I choose? Look, I think CEH has come in and all the hype is around him, yet we haven't seen him play in an actual NFL game. He's not going to just get every single target and touch. I think there's still opportunity for Williams to get some good fantasy points there. And you never know what's going to happen. Are you going to trust a rookie to take it over into the red zone, or someone who's actually proven through Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, also another fact, apparently, so we're talking about waiver wires, only 23% of leagues actually have him drafted.
That's good. I was trying to find those stats earlier. I couldn't find him anywhere as I was trying to frantically search, but it's good to know.
Cool. Shall I take the next one?
Yeah,
I'm going with a quarterback special. All three of my guys are quarterbacks this time round. And my sleeper is Mr. Ryan Tannehill. You might say, but wait, he's a great player. Why is he a sleeper? Because he's still on a lot of waiver wires for this week. And I think he's going to have a smashing week. If we look at last season, did you guys know that Ryan Tannehill actually had the highest quarterback passer rating of the entire league? He had a 70.3% what's it called? Passer completion. Yep.
Right. I'm going to really absolutely come in and basically shit on your dream there. Rich, where did Tannehill end up on QB last year?
Oh, don't launch these things on me, Matthew.
Mario started.
Go on, let's go. You're a stats man.
Which Tannehill you get, Chief? Which Tannehills? He's flashed some of this before at Dolphins. Then Adam Gase killed him in Miami. But for me, there's a reason why he's not that drafted, and no one in our league really is wanting to start him. You don't know which one you're going to get. Is he a stud?
That is true, but he's got great, fantastic weapons out there. We're looking at emergence of Johnny Smith. We're looking at AJ Brown, absolute freak of a wide receiver. We're looking at Henry working on some screen passes, bubble passes. That all comes down to receiving touchdowns. And they've just signed Jadeveon Clowney, who is a absolute amazing defensive end. He is going to protect Ryan Tannehill as if he was his baby. And I just think that this is going to be the year for the Tennessee Titans. I think they're going to run the ball, and then when they stack the box, they're going to launch it.
Who are they playing this week, sorry?
Broncos.
Oh, it's a tough place to go, though. Are they going or are they coming to?
Yeah, they're going.
They're going, but...
To Denver. Oh.
If you extrapolate Tannehill's
eat
numbers from last year, he would have finished about QB5. He only played 12
there you
games,
go.
but got 230 points as QB21, so you take maybe a third of that, so at about 70, 80 points on.
Moose.
That puts him up in that QB5, QB6 range.
Fancy wager. Tannehill will finish in the top 15 QBs this week.
I will take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
What's
in Denver...
What's the stakes? Are we doing draft pick for next year? Chief, just to update you. So the Goat and I have a bet currently that I've completely forgotten what the bet is. That
Baker Mayfield or someone else finishing higher next year for a 5th round
absolutely.
pick.
That's it. So the other person will be able to choose our 5th round pick for that person.
So let's trade a 7th round pick, Chief.
7th round?
Yep. I'll take it.
Done.
Oh, this is the best day of my life.
So you think he'll finish in the top 15 QBs for fantasy this week?
Yep, I sure do. I appreciate 15. That they are
top
away
15,
from home.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's like half the league.
But the air is thinner in Denver, so we can launch that ball real good to AJ Brown.
Yeah, and Chubb and Von Miller will eat him.
Right,
he will get
I'm loving
eaten.
this. Absolutely loving this.
I would love it if he comes QB16. I would love it.
You've got the vacuum cleaner noise from the stands. It's going to be a different experience being away from home this season. So I think it's not as much of a threat.
Sure. Can I just? This is genuinely me being stupid, and I appreciate that. It is not just white noise vacuum cleaning a sound, is it? It's like a crowd audience ambience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, this is white noise is like the most right. I'm in my zone. Filter out all the noise. Let's go. So
it's not like Vuvu
It
Sailors.
will be recorded crowd noise from other games, but it will only be 70 decibels, which isn't exceedingly loud.
Do you know what we need to try and do? We need to try and be one of the people in the stands. We need to try and get on video, apply for this, and get on the video.
I thought you meant
stands.
fly out there and just stand there being like, throw it better.
Throw it. Become top 15.
You're ruining my fantasy season. Because if there's like 6 of you in the stands, they're hearing that.
I've lost my 7 pick to Tom.
Here we go.
Right,
Here we go. Week
let's,
1 rankings. I want to have a look actually. QB, where's he?
Hang on. So Tom, hang on. So just before you go into that, let's finish off the sleepers with Rich's sleeper vote.
I'm going to do one that's actually going to make Tom very happy. I'm going to say Blake Jarwin. I see no reason why he won't finish as a top 10 tight end this week. And for those of you who play in 12-man leagues, that means he's going to be better than at least 20% of your league, I'd imagine. At some stage, I can see him being a top 9, top 8. There's so much opportunity for him. He's got a big contract, so he's clearly trusted. And unless you're Tom doing a vindictive pick in the middle of a draft, most people can pick him up with a last round pick, or he's still available on waivers. And if not, take a look to Dan Arnold, because he's been getting nothing but praise out of Cardinals camp, and it's the same deal.
We know what it's like with vindictive Cowboys picks. So. Looking at the 6th round.
There's a bit of a difference. And this is big contention.
Yeah, no, you took my quarterback. It's fine. Anyway.
Okay, we'll
I'm looking
carry
on
because
Fantasy Pros, week 1. This is the consensus rankings. Tannehill. He's coming in.
Consensus rankings aren't what they've scored, though. They're not reading.
No, but this is predicted.
This is predicted. The easiest game.
Obviously, I know this, but this is predicted. He's expected to come 23rd out of all QBs this week.
Yeah, below Kirk Cousins, I will.
Prime time, Kirk. Prime time.
No, I said below Kirk Cousins. I will eat my hat.
I'd have Kirk Cousins over Tannehill this week. Kirk is like, if I die, I die. So for that, I like it.
I don't know. Vikings have a very tough matchup. Probably one of the most interesting games in my mind starting off. But anyway, so moving on to this, I feel like we should move on to our new game that we're going to do every week for your Thursday night roundup. We're going to do rapid fire predictions. Now, this is going to just one of us will go through their predictions and we'll see if all of us agree or if there's someone who disagrees with the outcome of each game occurring that week. So, who wants to take the lead? Who wants to say who
Tommy
they
Boy,
is going to win first?
As our matchup maestro, who has masterminded this for us this week, why didn't you take the lead and we'll all tell you when we violently disagree?
So, just call out the both teams and just do, like, for example, it's Texans versus Chiefs, and therefore it's at Chiefs. Say who you think you're going to win, and then we'll say whether or not we agree or disagree.
All right, Texans at Chiefs. I think Chiefs have this. Easy win for the Chiefs.
Agreed.
Don't think that's any surprise there.
But don't put too much faith in any Texans players.
Maybe DJ early, but he'll get the game script. Anyway, Eagles at Washington, name TBD. Wentz out. Eagles just.
Yeah, Eagles easily.
I'm Eagles easily, yeah.
I've got the Eagles defense because they're playing into just a trash offense. Let's go.
Okay, Dolphins at Patriots. I think if the Dolphins score a single point, they're lucky, so Patriots all day long.
Yeah, no, I agree, Pats.
Bit harsh, but yes, Pats.
I'm going Dolphins.
Are you? Of course
Matt.
you are, Dolphins fan.
Oh, I like this.
I am going Dolphins. I'm seeing a replay of what they did last season.
Miracle
do you want
Miami.
6th round pick bet? 6th round pick bet.
Right, stop betting draft picks, otherwise you might as well just swap draft positions.
So, okay, you just think that, what, Matt, how do you justify that?
I think that the Pats have been through a hell of a lot. Losing Tom Brady, also losing quite a few of their number one pieces to the Corona opt-out. And if we see the same Ryan Fitzpatrick that we saw last season, now got a load of new weapons. We've got Preston Williams back. We've got Mike Gesicki coming into a breakout year. We've got both Matt Breida and
Jonathan Howard.
Yes, thank you, Jonathan Howard in the backfield. I think that they're going to clinch it, and it's my upset of the week.
It's predicted to be a 43-point game with the Patriots by 6. It's curious.
Can't see Bill losing game 1 against Dolphins.
I can't see the Dolphins putting up that many points, if I'm honest. I would back the Patriots to cover the spread, but I don't think they'd put up 43 points in the game as a pair of teams.
Okay.
Right.
Moose, you're obviously drunk on elk blood or reindeer blood or something like that. So moving on, Packers at Vikings. I have Vikings to win this. I think Rodgers, he's only got 2 weapons. Vikings have strengthened the D, and Dalvin Cook will just run all over him.
I think Packers,
Agreed.
but only because I think Aaron Rodgers got something to prove.
And Moose?
I think this is a tough one. I think I'm going to go Packers as well.
Ooh, 2-2. Okay. We'll
Remember, Kirk Cousins can't throw a ball,
fans.
so that's handy.
So after this, I'll do a Twitter poll about who's more wrong. Is it me and Matt or the Bear and Moose? Okay. And then Colts at Jaguars. I actually have Jacksonville not winning this by a mile.
yeah. Philip Rivers has got a wonderful game to come back to. I nearly had Philip Rivers as my start/sleeper this week. I think he's going to have a great week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Bears at Lions. Do you know what?
Bears.
I actually have the Lions.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I'm taking Lions.
Really?
I have Lions,
as well.
yeah.
Oh,
All of
because
us
you
have
hate
Lions,
Mitch
apart from
Trubisky.
you.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky is he's got an average arm. And apart from Allen Robinson, who's left?
All right, you've swung me. I'm with you, Lions, because I think Matty Stafford, Kenny Golladay are going to
Honestly, Golladay
I
just
think
getting
it's Matt
slung.
Stafford. I think he's going to go off this season again.
As long as they can keep
and I
Khalil
think it's gonna
Mack
be great.
in his holster, then I think they'll be fine. Yeah, so I'll
Right,
swing to
Matt-
Lions with you.
Matt Stafford has a sixth sense, so it's fine. That's the Haley Joel Osment reference because he still looks like him. Okay, and Raiders at Panthers. I have what's his type? I've got the Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater slinging it. New offense. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah.
I mean, you're not abusing this as a fantasy matchup in any way. I think maybe the Raiders might just take it.
At
Panthers weren't very
Carolina.
good last year at finishing, were they?
I'm for the Raiders.
Ooh.
I'm going Panthers. Sadly, I wish I would say Raiders, but I think the Panthers are going to clinch it this week.
Who's making a note of these?
Split well, it's being recorded,
I-
so that's pretty handy.
There we go.
Yeah,
All right. Hello. All right. Jets at Bills. I think we all know the Jets have got this one sewn up for a nice big fat loss.
Yeah. Back the Bills.
They're
pick
gonna
people
Adam
on the
Gase all
Bills,
over the
play
field.
people from the
Yeah.
Bills. Drop all your Jets players. Adam Gase is just going to do an Adam Gase all over the place.
Bought Jameson
Yeah.
Crowder. If he walks out of there without a torn spleen and kidneys, he's done well. Okay, Browns at Ravens. I really like the Browns, but I feel they're just going to drop a big shit, and the Ravens will profit.
Yeah,
Ravens.
Lamar's too good. You've got to beat Lamar, and I don't think the Browns know how to beat Lamar this early in the season.
The defense is still strong on the Ravens.
Yes.
Defense is
Yeah,
still
true.
strong. Okay. Although would love a Browns upset. Would love it. But
Yes.
Seahawks at Falcons. This one I think is one of the games of the week.
Yeah.
And I actually have this Falcons winning. If it was
I
in
do as
Seattle,
well.
I'd the other way. But
I
got
think I'm
Seahawks.
going Seahawks. Yeah.
Oh, I
Lots
like
of,
this.
uh,
A couple of splits.
I think
Lots
the
of Austin Hooper.
Seahawks are a middling defense for everything. They kind of came middle of the field last year for everything.
But they are consistent. That's what I'm going
They
to
are
say.
consistent,
they are
but I
consistently
think Todd
good.
Gurley is
They're-
a better upgrade over
Devonta Freeman, yeah.
Devonta
by miles.
Freeman. So I think that's
Yeah, but
really
they
going to
got
help
Russell
him out. I
Wilson
think Russell
better
Gage is
than
going to
Matt
come
Ryan.
through. Julio's looking big. I think the Falcons just about have the talent to take it, but it's going to be close. It's going to be a good game to watch.
Honestly,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Seahawks defense was one of the most run up on last year.
Oh, God, you know what? I'm just looking at the Vegas lines. They're expecting 49 points. Great job for putting these in the episode sheet, Chief. They reckon it's going to be a 49-point game with the Seahawks having a spread of plus 1.5.
That's
That's going to be
So,
a
yeah,
great game
High
to
scoring
watch.
game, so that's going to be a good fantasy game as well. A lot of points to go around.
not a shootout.
Yeah, I'm not betting on that, though.
Yep. Chargers at Bengals. You know what? I'd love Joe Burrow to come in and do well, but I think Chargers for me.
I'm refusing to call this. It could be a real toss-up.
You've
you know,
got to.
Tyrod
You've got
could
to.
suddenly be good. All right, I'm going to go Chargers because I always like the teams that I watch on Hard Knocks every year. So it's going to be Chargers for me.
Chief and Zebra, you're the same?
I'm going against the curve. Then I'm going Bengals.
Again,
I
we're
believe-
not,
I'm going
we're not
Chargers.
abusing this matchup in fantasy, though, are we?
No, not one for me.
No.
I wouldn't start AJ Green, put it that way.
No.
He'll catch a ball and then break a toenail.
Yeah, he'll limp off the field within 4 snaps. Don't worry about him.
I would probably start Keenan Allen if I had have drafted him, but I haven't in any of my leagues.
Yeah,
Round.
fair enough.
Again. And then 6th round Throjo, so we'll talk about that later. Cardinals at 49ers. I think we all talked about Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins, and the 49ers defense. Yeah, I can't see any way but 49ers win that. They'll just run him into the ground.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 49ers will take... But one thing Jimmy Garoppolo is very good at doing that he learnt off Tom Brady is he's a bit of a game general, he's a game manager. I can't see the 49ers giving the Cardinals a way into that game. So it's going to be... The Cardinals aren't going to lose it. They're just not going to be able to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep, agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Buccaneers at Saints. It's predicted to be incredibly
easy.
tight, this one. But I think it is Saints. Absolutely. I think Drew Brees is going to prove that he's better than the Florida old man. He's the better old man, and it's in New Orleans. There's better running backs. There's better wide receivers. There's better everything to Saints.
I'm with you there, Tom. I'm going Saints.
I really wish it wasn't so, but yeah, I think Saints.
You're all wrong. It's going to be the Buccaneers. And as resident Florida man, you're all wrong. It's Buccaneers.
I know, Zebra, you feel dirty agreeing with me, but it is Saints. Okay, Cowboys at Rams, one of the worst logos in football, so I've got Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Cowboys,
yeah. Yeah, go on,
Sean
Zeke.
McVay. Your fiance is very attractive, as I've seen on Hard Knocks. He's obviously with her for her brains and talent. Maybe she does an OBJ special, we don't know. But
Tommy, that is not woke. I'm
Come
not
on.
sure you can say that on the internet nowadays.
well, if you're listening, Mrs. Future
just move
McVeigh
Just
or
move
Mr.
on.
OBJ,
No.
text
Just
me.
move on.
You
So
realise your
Steelers
face is
versus
on the
Giants.
internet saying these words.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Steelers at New York Giants. I think we talked about this. Steelers will win it.
Steelers will win
Vegas
it on
back then.
virtue of defense, yeah.
Steelers, yeah.
Okay. Zebra, you agree, Steelers?
Yep, Steelers.
Okay. And Titans at Broncos.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm
Titans.
going Titans, obviously with their top 15 quarterback Ryan Tannehill. He's going to take them to victory.
I think Broncos, I think it'll be more of a shootout than... Jesus, where have they got it on here? I think it'll be more of a shootout.
It's very
than
low.
Vegas have
Second
it.
lowest scoring, and Vegas have Broncos
Yeah.
by 1.5.
Yeah, I think it'll be
Very tight. Very tight.
be a bit higher scoring than that. I think
I
it'll be
just can't see-
exciting, but
Can't see Tannehill throwing the ball.
well,
It's gonna be
my
Henry.
thing is you've got Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and Jerry Jeudy. And then Drew Lock should make a step up into his second year, actually learning the offense in the offseason. So for me, it's a great offense, and I think they'll just pip the Titans, who might have done that thing that some teams do where they get a bit complacent after having a good run, and they need to be kicked into shape in their first couple of games of the year. So I'm taking Broncos.
True.
Cool. And there we go. There's the rapid fire roundup, which I think
10
we had a good couple of predictions there. I think we'll make some sort of graphic, get them all set up, and post them on Instagram. Let us know if you agree with one of us, all of us. Some of us can't agree with all of us, can you?
It's fine if you only agree with me. Most people tend to who win leagues. So.
Right. So what we're going to do now is move on to some bold predictions, which I've gone full bold on mine, and I absolutely love it. We are going to call out questions like who's going to be season MVP, who's going to be in the Super Bowl, who are they going to be champs, who's going to win on opening night, first team score, first touchdown. Going to answer all of these for you, and let's see who can get the predictions right. Once again, this episode feels like we're all about predictions, trying to guess it right. Hopefully what will happen is throughout the season, you'll see that our predictions are mostly correct, and then you'll listen to us more and listen to our advice more, and that's how we're going to play it. So it's all riding on this, guys.
That's a brave sell, but I believe in you.
It's a brave set. I believe in us. I believe in us. Look, I can sort of shine the back of Tom's head from here. I believe in it. Right then. So, season MVP. Who do we think is going to win?
Saquon.
So, okay, Saquon Barkley.
He's always been up there. He's always been good. We all talk about him being a generational talent. If he really is, it's time for him to win his league MVP. The only problem I have is your league MVP tends to come from a winning team, and I actually think the Giants will go like 5-11 this year. But if they can sort out my win-loss prediction for them and be a bit more winning, I think Saquon's got a great shot of coming in as season MVP this year.
Yeah, I back Saquon. I'm going Saquon.
Ooh, okay. Double Saquon. Now, Chief, who are you going for?
I'm going for Kyler Murray because I think that the MVP committee is fairly. I don't want to use the word rigged, but since 2013,
Rigged,
it's
it's a
just been
fix.
quarterbacked.
The Russians did it.
So there may be better players, but if we're carrying on the quarterback trend, I think Kyler Murray is going to explode this year, and they're going to choose him as the next Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's not a bad shout. I I myself, I feel dirty even just saying this, but there is just logic behind it. I think Patrick Mahomes. I believe last year he was unlucky to sort of not clinch it himself after what happened. I think the Chiefs are building the team around Mahomes. I think he's got the opportunity, one of the best opportunities to actually produce some quality plays to get him MVP. So it's not necessarily he deserves it. I think he has the best opportunity to get it.
And he's got 500 million things motivating him to be an MVP.
And he's got 500 million things motivating him.
And he's engaged.
Oh,
yes, he is.
Congratulations.
That was another
Congratulations.
thing that went big on the internet, wasn't it?
So here's our next bowl. Who is going to be in the Super Bowl this year?
I will happily start with my crazy pick because it doesn't have the Chiefs in it. And that's Titans v Saints. I'm really big on the Titans this year. I think if they're coming through with everything that they've been working on, then they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they did so well in the playoffs last year. It was so crushing to not see them advance. So if they can basically do the same thing as they did last year, but just a bit better, I can see them going all the way. And Saints, because I looked at the NFC and I thought which of these teams is going to be more dangerous. And I don't really think the 49ers can do what they did last year again. So Saints are dangerous. I'm looking forward to seeing them there.
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of join that bold prediction. I also think Titans, dark horse coming out last year. I think they were very unfortunate not to make it to the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to do it again. I think Tannehill, who's top 15 QB easily, is going to be able to produce the numbers for them. But I also think, and I just want it to be true, but the Buccaneers, I want the Buccaneers to do it. I want them to make the Super Bowl. I think that they've genuinely got the talent and experience there to potentially pull off one of the greatest sort of comebacks for all pensioners this year. So I'm going to go with those guys.
We're getting 4 in a row, baby. We are getting Tom Brady his full double hand set of rings. I'm telling you right now. I'm impressed by both of your faith in the Titans in my roundups. I actually made a little play-in bracket earlier because I was trying to work it out in my head, and the easiest way was to draw it out. I figured that Titans would be playing Texans on wildcard weekend. Deshaun Watson likes to bottle the odd playoff game, so I figured that was fine. But then I've got them come up against the Chiefs. And I don't think they'll outdo the Chiefs, so that's where I had them falling there on divisional weekend. But fair
I think
play
that's
to
understandable.
them. For me, I have the Bucks versus the Chiefs. For me, I've got the Bucks coming all the way through the NFC and the Chiefs coming all the way through the AFC. And we're not asking for it, but I just really want to piss off all of the Patriots owners. Patriots aren't making the playoffs.
Right then, Tom, bring it home.
Bring it home. I have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas Chiefs. Real dark ones with Dallas.
Cowboys. Ooh.
Yeah, I like it.
Big call.
Fan.
Is that thanks to Jason Garrett disappearing this year, or?
Yep. He was just holding them back, I think. Mick McCarthy's been there and done it, and the team's just too loaded with talent.
Fair enough.
And moving on to our next section, Super Bowl champs. Who do you think will win out of that matchup, Tom?
I want to say Chiefs, but you know what? I'm going to go for Cowboy Nation out there because I don't want another AFC to win it. So, yeah, Cowboys.
I am, of course, Bucks. It goes without saying if you know me.
I'm going to back the Bucks as well, all the way.
And I'm going Titans. I'm sticking with my ship.
Do you know what? This is great. We're all going for our dark horses. We're all going for the long shots.
Dark horses? Come on, behave. Bucks are clearly going.
We didn't say old
we
horses,
shall see.
Sorry.
We shall see. So old horses. Whip them into shape. Come on, boys. So, okay, now that is sort of gone out the way, a bit more bolder than I thought it was going to be, but something that I think is going to be slightly more obvious. Who is going to win on the opening night? I think we've all agreed so already, the Chiefs.
Yep. I think we all agreed the Chiefs, didn't we?
We did all agree the Chiefs, absolutely.
Banging. Well done,
so
everyone.
who,
Oh, God,
however,
agreed. I love that.
This is kind of more of a tricky one. Who's going to be the first person to score a point on opening night?
I will take this because I've been picturing this for weeks. Yes, Tom, you are correctly right. First team to score any points on opening night. The Texans will win the coin toss. They will do a slow, laboured drive with 2 third-down conversions, and they will eventually get stopped and kick a field goal. And that is who I think will score the first points on opening night, a Texans field goal.
Yep. Do you know what? I even like this. So a field goal, Tom, you agree? Field goal, Texans.
Field goal or D. Johnson touchdown. 100-yard run.
All right. I thought you were about to say, yeah, I think this will be a field goal, guys, or a touchdown. So
he'll never do that in a million years. Now I think Texans field
goal. I'm personally going to go for the Cinderella story. Been a lot of hype in the off season about Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Eclair because he's filled with goodness, and I think he's just going to take it all the way to the house, and everyone's going to just lap it up and be like, oh my God, this is the prodigy. This is the running back that we all knew that we signed. It was beautiful.
I'm going to be very similar. I think the Chiefs will be the first to score on open night. However, I don't believe in Cinderella story. I think Damian Williams will carry it into the red zone. So I think CH might move the chains and get them to the position, but I don't think he'll be the one to carry it over.
Darrell Williams. Damian Williams.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Damian Williams is
so that kind of cut into our next question. But the next question was going to be, who do we think will be the first touchdown scorer on opening night, as in not the team, the person. I think after the Texans field goal, the Chiefs will have 3 plays, and the third one will be an 85-yard touchdown to Hill, because the secondaries won't be ready for it, and Hill is just the fastest human I've ever met. I've never met him. Tariq Hill, if you want to come on the podcast, that'd be sick, man. But no, fastest human I've ever seen.
Okay, I'm going to go for Mecole Hardman. He dropped the Super Bowl ring. He's got something to prove. So I think he's not going to be dropping any balls, and he's going to score a touchdown.
Nice. And then we got Matt with Darrell Williams and Chief with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
We like it.
Helaire.
And there we go. Well, with that, we're going to call it a day. Enough ball takes, I think, for one show. Week 1, we don't know what's going to happen. But let me know if you enjoyed today's show. Be a friend and tell a friend.
If you're listening to the podcast, then go ahead and subscribe and drop us a review on whatever platform you use. If you're watching us on YouTube, as we're used to by now, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like for the YouTube algorithm. Click the little bell, you get notified when we put another video out. It all helps us massively, and best of all, it is totally free for you guys to do.
If you'd like to leave a comment for any questions or your own Super Bowl takes, or if we're coming to you via a podcast service, you can always drop us an email to fantasyfootballzoo@zoohousesports.com. Alternatively, if you're on Twitter, OBJ or Sean McVay's fiance, you can find me at ZooHouseGo.
Or me at ZooHouse Zebra.
Or me at ZooHouse Bear.
Or me at ZooHouse Moose. Or the podcast in general on Twitter and Instagram at ZooHouseSports_. If you can't wait another week for more fantasy content, be sure to head over to ZooHouseSports.com. The site is chock full of all the articles you need to get the advantage over your league mates this year.
And as always, a massive thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week.